y'all. Welcome to another episode of Midweek Minis, the show where you get to ask us questions and we get to tell you your stories back to you because we have listener stories. Right, Leah?
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
You usually just introduce me, but it's fun.
I'm Mitch Lawrence and that's my wife Leah Lawrence.
Hey.
And we are excited to get started this week. So Leah, why don't you hit us with that listener story?
All right. Well, we have an extra long listener story today, so strap in, y'all. But it's good. So it is a hometown murder. So let's get into it. And it is actually from one of the hosts of I Have a Strange Story podcast, which I really recommend y'all listening to if you've never listened to it, because it is they get stories from all over the internet. People send in stories of creepy stuff, high strangeness, all sorts of weird stuff. And it's really interesting and really cool. And it's all listener stories. So if you like the listener story format, I very much recommend I Have a Strange Story. It's Rebecca who this email is from and her sister, and it's a good show. I really recommend it. All right.
That sounds wonderful.
It says, "Hello, Mitch and Leah. I love your podcast. It's so much fun to listen to, and while I listen to a lot of podcasts, I always look forward to y'all's and never skip an episode. Keep up the good work."
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We very much appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Okay, on to the story. So this story takes place in my hometown of Georgetown, Texas. I claim to be from Austin, but this is the city I grew up in. Georgetown has your typical small town outside of a large town vibe to it. It's about 30 minutes north from the live music capital of the world, a few major stores, a small downtown square around the courthouse, and several train tracks running through it. It's a beautiful city filled with tall Spanish oak trees and wildflowers in the spring. It's a safe city where literally nothing happens.
I'll bet it's not.
Until something does.
Yeah, there you go.
On January the 10th of 2002, a young girl named Rebecca Cook was sleeping on her parents' couch. She was home for the Christmas holiday from college, visiting her family. Her mother was leaving to take her younger sister to school and saw her daughter fast asleep on the couch. In the way a parent does, she poked her daughter and said, "Love you, have a good day," and left. These were the last words she would speak to her daughter.
Oh, God.
It's assumed that Rachel got up to go on her routine 4-mile jog and never came back home. She passed 6 different people who confirmed to have seen her running on her usual route. In fact, she was only 2 houses away from her own when she vanished.
Oh.
She wore brightly colored clothing, and her jog was during the vibrant hours of the Texas morning. Everyone was baffled as to how she could just disappear. As in most of these young missing people's cases, the police assumed that she had run off in rebellion or defiance of her parents, but somehow this didn't seem right. She was very close to her family and had a loving boyfriend in California waiting on her. The search began quickly, and soon the Rangers, FBI, and Austin PD were called into action. However, unfortunately, the case was soured from the beginning. The former lead sheriff on the case was being forced out of his position on sexual harassment charges and indecent exposure. He was also adamant that none of Rachel's family were to be questioned. This led the case into a deep investigative freeze. The case has since passed through 3 sheriffs and is currently being led by Robert Chody, I think, Chody, Chody.
Probably.
This case has been an obsession of his since, working tirelessly every day to come up with new evidence. There are possibly hundreds of suspects to weed through, but a few have made it on the radar. With Chody leading the case, he had the opportunity to interview Rachel's father before he passed away a few years ago. He was subjected to a polygraph test where he passed all but one question. Do you know where Rachel is?
Uh-oh.
He answered no and failed. Another suspect was Rachel's ex-boyfriend, Thomas. He seemed to be emotionally unstable and was devastated when their relationship ended. After their breakup, he crashed a party she was attending to try and talk things out. Things got heated and they ended up having a screaming match. He even went as far as to contact her new boyfriend, begging and pleading for her to come back to him.
Oh, fucking creepy.
Yep.
Ugh.
Neighbors witnessed a white car full of mysterious young men driving in her neighborhood the day she went missing. The car was a white Trans Am and had recently been identified. Some blood samples were found in the car and are currently being investigated. It gets worse, though.
Oh.
A few years ago, convicted murderer Michael Keith Moore confessed to the murder of Rachel. He gave gruesome details of bludgeoning her with a hammer and dumping her body into the Gulf of Mexico. As he was already in jail, he struck a deal to plead guilty and would have his day in court. The family must have been so relieved. All these years to finally know what had happened to her and to know that her murderer was in prison. On the day of the hearing, the whole town must have come into that tiny courtroom. When the judge finally asked, "How do you plea?" Moore replied, "Not guilty." The courtroom was stunned, but he went on to explain that he made the whole thing up. With no physical evidence to convict him, there was nothing anyone could do. I didn't know Rachel personally, but she and I did have a class together in high school. We were both in choir, and as far as I can remember, she was a good singer. But what I do remember about her is that she was a very kind and beautiful girl. She was always nice to me, too. And that's my hometown mystery. Thanks for reading.
Well, I'm pretty sure that guy did not do it.
Probably not.
He's one of those crazy people.
I would say a lot of people that are already in jail for shit like that, like, that's pretty common, is to make up, because, like, every few years someone confesses to murdering John Bonet. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty...
I plan on doing it next year.
Mitchell.
I plan on confessing. But they gotta catch me. They don't know where I am.
So, yeah, thank you so much for sending that in. We really appreciate it.
Yes,
and if anybody else has a hometown murder they want to share, if you've got a ghost story that you've like witnessed, if you've got a local cryptid or a legend you want to share with me, if you went to Scotland and saw Loch Ness one time, let's talk about it. I would love to hear any and all of your cool, weird, strange, different stories. Send me an email, southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com.
Or send a message to any of our social media accounts.
Yeah, we'll find it.
And we'll get it, and we'll add it to the pile, as it were. All right, well, we're a good ways in, which I enjoy, because then we won't have to use too many questions this week. But let's get going. Our first one is from Casey. I was listening to a recent episode when I heard Leah was a fan of Pokemon. That's how I say it.
Pokemon?
I am not sure if Mitch is, but if you could have a real-life team, what would it be comprised of? I love Pokemon, so I thought it would be fun to know your teams. I am not a fan of Pokemon. I never have been. I've never liked it. I don't dislike it. It's just not for me. And I acknowledge that. Leah, go ahead.
I've been a Pokemon fan since I was a little kid. Me and my brother... Stop. Me and my brother collected the trading cards, played the game. My brother's like 4.5 years older than I am. So, like, he was the one who first started getting into it. But, like, I did anything that he did because I thought he was cool. And he wasn't, turns out. But,
total nerd.
Yeah, but we were really nerdy, and we played the game, and we collected the cards, and like, he had a Game Boy, so he got all the games, and I played him after he did, and I watched the TV show. He never really got into the anime or anything, but I watched the first season anime that came on when I was a kid, and I don't know, I'm a big handheld gamer. I get really bad motion sick from anything, like, too big on a screen, so Pokemon is like my super duper jam, and I cannot wait until Sword and Shield comes out. My thing with a team, though, is I'm the least strategic Pokemon player ever. Yeah. I go based on who's the fucking cutest. Like, it's...
Well, that's your team, then. That has nothing to do with strategy. It's just who's your team. The cute ones.
I would say I'm always going to pick the adorable ones, and it depends on, I want to know what their final evolution is, because some of the final evolutions just aren't cute. Ugh, it makes me mad, but anyway. So, yeah, I like ghost types a lot. I really like grass types. So, you know, anything in that genre.
The worst types.
Yeah, basically. I know I'm a fucking weirdo, and I'm not, like, I've completely beaten every Pokemon game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bad at it, but I'm not as strategic as a lot of people. Like, my brother is one of those completionist people when it comes to it, and he collects every single Pokemon in every single game and has multiple, you know, he's that guy. I'm like, beat it a couple of times through, but yeah, so.
Well,
but my favorite Pokemon is probably, there's so many to choose from.
You got it. I believe in you. You still need to give him a team.
Oh.
That's the point of this.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not going to happen because there's too many fucking adorable ones. I'm planning on being a Pokemon trainer for Halloween, and I'm a puppet builder, and so I'm going to build a Pokemon puppet to go with it. So I think that I'm going to do probably a Torchic maybe as my Pokemon. I don't know. It's going to be adorable either way. Means. It's a little Firebird. It's super cute. Yeah.
That's really cute.
Anyway, but yeah.
So you're not picking a team?
No, I'm not picking a team. That's...
Casey, she goes for the cute grass ones. That's her team.
Yeah, it really is.
I have no idea what that means, but I support it, and I support you.
Okay, most of the time I will have a top everything, and you know me, I'm very decisive about shit like that. I have a list, but for Pokemon, they're all too cute and too adorable, and I like them too much to pick. So I'm copping out like Mitch on this question.
Well, I'm behind that. I'm fine with you doing that. All right, question number 2. This is from Barbara.
Okay.
Have you ever farted and passed the blame off on someone else?
Oh, all the fucking time.
Every day.
All the fucking time.
Successfully?
Yeah.
Maybe not, because it's normally just me and Leah, but I'll like fart and go, was that you? No. She'll look at me and go, no. You know the answer to that question.
Or you'll blame it on the dogs a lot.
No, I've never done that. I haven't, because I think it's marvelous to hear a dog fart, because you always smell them.
Yeah.
But then sometimes our dogs audibly fart when they're like jumping on the couch, and it's just wonderful. It's fucking really love funny.
No, what's really bad is I'm bad about crop dusting in stores.
Oh, God.
And... like Mitch is generally with me when we go shopping, so I will have crop dusted in like an aisle and we're just sort of walking away from it, and then like you'll see someone coming down the aisle the other direction, you're like walk away, and they always look back towards us and think it's Mitch every time. It's not.
Well, yeah, I do look like the kind that has constant diarrhea farts. I will say that about myself. Like, I'm a big guy and I just look like I shit myself on the aisle. I understand that it's not accurate, but also what's fun about that is that Leah, for the last few years, has not had much of a sense of smell because she's allergic to everything. Yeah. So we have 2 dogs and a cat, and she's allergic to all of them.
But I'm mostly allergic to the cat.
So her sense of smell is pretty much non-existent. So she'll do it, and then she won't like think anything of it. And I'll look at her and I'll go, "Did you fart?" She goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And I'm like, "How did I know? It smells like nuclear waste over here." And then she goes, "Oh, we should leave this aisle." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like we got to come back because there's shit I want on this aisle. But for now, yes, let's clear the zone." I mean, this happens way more than I care to talk about because she doesn't smell it. She just doesn't even know it's there. And I'm like, good. I
have to be really
God.
Close up to something to smell it. Yeah. Just because my sinuses are constantly swollen with cat dander.
I also think that I have a particularly good and sensitive sense of smell, but I'm not sure. It's definitely better than hers.
Yeah,
I know that.
It is.
But, oh my God. But yeah, Leah will do it and I'll just get blamed for it. Not audibly, but I'm pretty sure that most people think that it's me.
Yep.
All right. From Kim. How are you holding up with the weird political climate in Alabama? God damn it, Kim.
Oh, fuck me.
This is the worst. Oh. Well, I mean, it's fucking terrible because, you know, when you see it from outside the state, it's like, okay, Alabama's just fucking crazy and it's not a big deal. There are a few stupid people. It's most of the fucking people in Alabama that think this way. And it's not comfortable. If you go to the big cities like Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, they're usually pretty liberal. And everywhere else is farmland. So these are people that didn't, for the most part, graduate high school, and they're old.
No, a lot of them graduated high school, but there's
quite a few of them did not, though.
Yeah, true, but there's not as much post-secondary education, and you can tell. And anyway, not by any means like downing anybody that didn't go to college, because I mean,
it has nothing to do with college.
No.
It's just about education.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't even want to get into it, but let's just say Roy Moore is running again, and I can't fucking deal.
Roy Moore, yes. And I will tell you this: if he gets the nomination, he will win. That's almost guaranteed at this point in this state. Because
how
Alabama
many times do you have to fire an
care.
Asshole before like people stop voting for him?
Mm-hmm. But it's just so cool. It's so cool. Not cool is not the word. It's interesting that Alabama does this. it's like, okay, it really doesn't matter what you have done unless it's something I disagree with, because I'll just vote for you because you say, in quotes, that you uphold my Christian values. And most people in Alabama don't understand why that's a really fucking bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just how it is.
I'm ready for the Baphomet statue to come back and it's going to be great. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, Kim, the answer is not well. Another from Kim. If you could go back and tell 13-year-old you anything, what would it be? Leah, go ahead.
Do your goddamn homework. You stupid, lazy bitch. Do your homework.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Mine would be, women really aren't that interesting. Just calm down. It's going to be okay. That's it, really. Oh man, I was a bleeding heart type of teenager, like hormones and stuff, and like, why does nobody love me? And it's like, now I'm 31 and I'm like, I don't really fucking care. You can love me or not. I'm just gonna hang out.
I love you if that helps.
Sure. That's pretty much it. That's all that I got. Oh, Kim again. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
I'll say yes, but probably not in the sense that I believe this question is probably asked, which is that they're like, crazy beings and all that. I think there's other life. I'll say that because we haven't. I'll say I'm not convinced that there isn't life. That's what I have to say. Leah?
Statistically speaking, there's no way there's not at least something.
That's how I feel. I don't know if they're coming here. That's what I'm saying. I disagree
how you
with
define life is or intelligent life is debatable. But I'm in whole hog. There's aliens. I believe it. I don't believe everybody's interbred and reptilian and the whole David Icke thing. No, I'm not that far. But yes, I believe in aliens and I believe we're being visited.
Yeah, well, I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure that I believe we're being visited or experimented upon or people are watching us, but I believe there's other life, for sure. Yeah. But I just don't know that anyone's coming here. And,
who knows? Maybe what people think of as aliens and UFOs visiting us, it could be interdimensional things. It could be a lot. There's a lot of weird, literal, actual science shit that is unexplained and strange, and maybe eventually that'll just be a normal thing, but right now it's weird, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Another from Kim. I think this one will be nice and quick. Ever had a reptile as a pet?
No, I have not, but I had a roommate that had a bearded dragon and a rosy boa in college.
Hashtag rosy boa.
Yeah, so super cute.
My answer is no. I don't like reptiles. I don't like snakes.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. They're not my favorite thing in the world, but I think they're cute, and as long as they're not at me. If I'm not being surprised by a snake, I'm fine. I think they're really pretty, but if it's there when I don't expect it to be there, I'm a little uncomfortable. But I've held snakes, I've petted them, all that stuff. Khan was a super cute. I think he was a ball python. I don't know. She had a couple of snakes at one point, but.
Yeah. I'm just not a big reptile person.
Khan and Hector Zeroni was the bearded lizard.
Mm-hmm. There's a fun story. Maybe I'm freaked out by reptiles because of this story. I'll just tell this, and this is how we'll wrap it up. We were told a story, not we, I have been told a story for a long time about when I was a baby. We got a new dog. Its name was Sparky. I was a year or 2 years old, and he actually looked remarkably like our dog now, Samus, that we have. And we got him as a puppy at Christmas. The next spring, I'm playing in the front yard. We had a sand pit in the front yard, but we were also in the country, and we had a catfish pond. From what I was told, I was sitting out in the sand pit, and the dog, Sparky, was beating on the door, trying to get outside. And my parents were like, what the fuck's going on? So they let him out. And my dad said he watched the dog grab me by my diaper or pull up or whatever I was wearing and drag me across the yard. And my dad thought the dog was attacking me and he was going crazy. Well, he went out there and the dog had put himself between me and a 4-foot water moccasin. That, I mean, I was a child. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But I've been told this story forever since I was growing up. And my dad's like, my dad's real fucking dramatic, always has been.
Yep.
But like, he saved your life. You were going to die. That thing was going to bite you, which I know they're venomous snakes and it was a 4-foot and all that. But I'm like, you don't tell a child that and freak them the fuck out for the rest of their lives, Yeah. Just chill out. Understand it's remarkable. Good dog. Loved him. But, Yeah,
your dad's a bit much when it comes to stuff like that.
A little bit. And, well, that's a fun story.
Yeah.
Anyway. But, so I've just had an aversion to reptiles most of my life. And I've seen quite a few snakes, when I'm growing up out there in the country.
Oh, yeah. Living out in the middle, because I've lived on a big 40-acre farm my entire life. And, yeah, I mean, snakes are just going to happen. Generally, it's garter snakes or like a black eraser, kind of like just normal, everyday, nothing dangerous. But
we had quite a few dangerous ones because we had that catfish pond right beside the house. We had a lot of water moccasins. There were rattlesnakes every once in a while. Yeah. So, yeah, but I've just never been big. I like lizards okay. That's a fun sentence. I like lizards okay. But, I'm just not big on reptiles. And Leah doesn't seem to be big on reptiles either.
I mean, I
like hairy animals.
I don't mind one way or the other. Reptiles don't bother me as long as I know that they're there. I don't want to be surprised. Like, I could be surprised by a cat and be fine with it. If I'm surprised by a snake, I might pee myself a little bit.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Well, this was another wonderful installment of Midweek Minis. Keep sending in your questions. We want to keep this bag filled up. Send in some more listener stories so that we have something fun to tell you next week. And just follow us on all of your social medias. Y'all know where to find us. Join the Patreon. And that's pretty much it, I guess. Is there anything I'm missing, Leah?
No, I think we're good.
That's it then. Well, we'll see y'all this weekend for the main release.
Bye, y'all.